To drama around Mushoku Tensei's upcoming episode, to drama around One Piece's latest chapter, and now drama around this series about a wife that becomes an elementary school student, there's been a lot that's been going on for the last 30 or so hours in the anime community, and obviously I've seen it, but I mainly have been just focusing on one thing that's been a big priority to me, which I made it very clear on social media and even in my last video I made, and that is the Elden Ring DLC. The Shadow of the Erdtree came out and been gaming on that, did pretty much a 20 plus hour session non-stop, incredibly fun. I might make a video just talking about my overall thoughts on the game. I know that'd be very different from what I normally do, but it's definitely something I kind of want to do, because the DLC so far, man, oh, it's so good. And the vigor check, by the way, is insane. Like, if you don't level up your health, you're just straight up getting one shot. But okay, let's get into actually why I clicked on the video, and let's talk about this. I mainly want to focus on this, not the Mushoku Tensei drama or the One Piece drama, because I'm probably going to make separate videos for that. Obviously, I'm going to talk about the Mushoku Tensei drama when the episode airs this upcoming Sunday, and I'll probably talk about the One Piece stuff maybe tomorrow with a chapter review. But with that being said, let's get into this. So, this is a series that we've known for a while that it was going to get an anime. I made a post on this a while back. I might have made a video talking about this anime a while ago. I believe I did, maybe not. I might have mentioned it in passing, but it's definitely something I've been aware of for a while, ever since it got an anime announcement. And obviously, when you see a title like this, in typical, Twitter online fashion, people will be quick to look at the title of something, and they'll get everything they need from that title, and they won't decide to do any research, they won't look into what it's actually about. They'll take everything at first glance from the title and say they understand everything about the series, and then they'll start doing anything they can to say their opinion on something and say that it's actual 100% factual, because they only read a title of something. And that's exactly what has been going on for the last 20 to 30 hours or so in the community. This is not just on Twitter, this is obviously happening on TikTok, this has happened on Reddit, and now this is happening on YouTube as well. It's been going on ever since this trailer dropped, and let's explain. Okay, so basically, the title obviously is where the controversy is coming from. Basically, it's about a dude where his wife literally is an elementary school student. And, when you see that, it's just like, at first glance, people are going to think that's very sus. The point of the matter is people are looking at the title, and that's all they're doing. They're not looking into anything and all that. And basically, if you watch this trailer, actually what the trailer is about, and you actually see what's going on within this trailer, and you see stuff like this, you kind of get a good understanding of what it's actually going to be about. And here, I'm going to read the synopsis to you, because this is straight up from, the synopsis on my anime list about what it's about. And if someone did their basic research on what it was about, we wouldn't be having all this controversy going on with this show. So with that being said, let's read this straight from my anime list. Let's read the synopsis, and let's just actually see what it really is about, instead of just getting all our information just from a title alone. People love just doing that. But anyways, so it's about a husband that lost his beloved wife 10 years ago. Since then, he doesn't feel alive and is seen as a gloomy man. The only family Keisuke is left with is his only daughter, Mai. He wants Mai to be happy, but he has not done anything for his daughter, other than providing living expenses. The father and daughter's time stopped 10 years ago. They are living in the same house, but live very separate lives and do not communicate well. One day, an elementary school girl appears in front of the Nijima house and claims that she is the reincarnation of his lost wife from 10 years ago. So, basically, to give a good understanding to this, you have a family that's broken. It's a broken family that lost someone very important to them, and thanks to losing someone in the family so dear and important, aka his wife and also the daughter's mother, it resulted in the father and daughter just really drifting apart and not really having any communication, and probably just not really showing that they care for each other anymore, because they're just so distant after the loss of someone that was truly great in their lives. And this is something that does happen. This is something that realistically does happen in real life, to where there is a death in the family, and it results in people in the family either slowly drifting apart or not communicating anymore, or maybe there's some hatred or something that happens. This is definitely something that is very common in real life. And so this story is obviously in reference to that, basically a broken family and dealing with a broken family and how to overcome grief and loss. And so when you throw in the element that 10 years have passed, and obviously it's very clear that the main male character, the husband, has obviously not moved on. He's still stricken by the grief, and so is the daughter. It has resulted in basically becoming very stagnant. And so the wife that is reincarnated coming into the life can be seen as a way to allow them to move on, to allow them to finally feel better about their grief. It could be used to allow them to live their life before everything is said and done, before lights are out, so to speak. And I feel like when you take a look at this, there's multiple directions the story can go. And obviously, people are easily going to look at the low-hanging fruit and say, oh, he's going to go after his reincarnated wife. But I feel like looking at the story, it reminds me a lot of like Anohana, if anyone's ever watched that show. It reminds me of just basically accepting people's passing and being able to live with yourself after they're long gone, like survivor guilt, etc. And it's more or less, I'm assuming, I have not been spoiled, I have not read the manga, I'm just clarifying what I can piece together from this, that most likely the wife being reincarnated, for the most part, is just there to help her, husband try to do something with his life before he dies, and also try to bring that spark back between father and daughter and allow them to have an actual proper relationship. I feel like that's why she is in the world again, why she was reincarnated, is just to make things right. To make things right before potentially maybe she might pass on. Maybe this reincarnation of her is not necessarily a reincarnation, it's more or less just a spirit, like an image or a ghost, so to speak, that's just drifting there until everything is said and done. She's just there for the time being until the husband is able to overcome his grief. So that's my assumption. But obviously, Twitter will not have that. Twitter gets very upset when they just see a title like this, and they lose their minds. They go crazy about this. And obviously, the title alone is definitely going to gatekeep a lot of people away from the story. It's going to gatekeep a lot of people from even participating in this story and watching it. But obviously, you're going to have those that are going to see clips of the show. They're going to see the title of the show that's going to appear in their feed all around the internet. And then they're going to do the exact same thing that's been happening for the last 30 or so hours. And also, just shout outs to Mother's Basement here, Jeff. I wanted to show this, that, his statement here is honestly, it took all the words pretty much straight out of my mouth. I don't want to kind of regurgitate everything he said here. You can pause the video and you can see what he kind of said here, and I might even link it in the description, but he pretty much did really hit the nail on the head. He's pretty much saying, like, the people that are, like, criticizing this show and all that and going after stuff and all that, it's a very xenophobic thing. It's like, they get all these assumptions about anime and say it's nothing but, like, let's say just lolly type stuff and all that, and, it's very creepy, sus and stuff, and, just because there's a lolly character, it has to be sus or creepy and all that, and it's very clear that, on Twitter, there's definitely a growing, like, voice of people just straight up being very anti anything from Japan, like anime, etc., and find it extremely creepy, and it needs to conform to the actual modern ideals in Western society. I've definitely seen this, and I feel like, what Jeff says here is pretty much like, it's not just racist, I would say more or less it's xenophobic. That's how I feel about this whole thing. And I mean, he even talks about, it's like, a tiny fraction of anime is about, like, lolly shoujo type stuff, but he's like, even if, it is, assuming that, it's actually real and the content that they are trying to say, like, about the series is actually accurate, like it is a sus series or whatever, the point is, it doesn't mean that it justifies actual death threats towards the author and people that are excited for the show, because it's the age-old thing I always say in these type of videos, is that fiction and reality are not the same. It's a story, it's not real. You don't need to protect fictional characters on a piece of paper. They don't matter, they don't care about you, they're just a literal piece of art. That's it. There's nothing else to it. It's not that complicated, but obviously people will defend fictional series that they've never even read or watched with their life, but then they'll turn around and tell the people that actually live and breathe in the real world to tell them to, oh, you need to disappear. You need to basically be gone from this world, so to speak, obliterated. I mean, this happened to me, obviously, and obviously it will continue to happen. You have a lot of unhinged people that will just straight up do stuff like this, and it's just like, it's full on display, like clown show and the mentally ill, so to speak, when you see stuff like this from people. And so in typical Twitter fashion, if you're someone that even dares to enjoy this series, like if you say openly online on Twitter, like, you want to watch this show called If My Wife Became an Elementary School Student, they'll instantly call you stuff like a PDF file, stuff like that, just for even remotely wanting to enjoy this. It's kind of in a very similar vein as Mushoku Tensei, how people are with that, and basically they will say these type of things because all they know about the story summary is pretty much the title. They'll look at the title of the series, and that's all they get. That's all the research they'll do, and they'll think they'll know everything about it because they know better. And they won't decide because they're just so strong in their conviction, which, is crazy, that they know everything about the show, even though they actually know nothing about it and won't even do the basic research to actually see that it's just about a broken family. So yeah, I can't wait to see that. There's going to be a lot of drama around this series when the episodes start to come out later this October and this year, but I'm definitely going to be seated. I'm definitely going to be watching this because I am all for series that make my heart skip a beat, make me feel sad, emotional, and all that. I love stuff like that. It's why I liked Anohana years ago when I first watched it, and so it feels like this might be in a very similar note to that. Also, on top of that, looking at who is working on it, it looks like it's being made by Studio Signpost. I'm not really familiar with all their stuff. Like, I haven't really seen much of the Kingdom seasons, the latest Kingdom stuff, so I can't really say. But, hopefully it's good. I really do hope that this show is good. I mean, if there is one thing we're going to get from it, it's definitely going to be controversy. And you know how controversy is. It definitely brings a lot of tension to a show. Let's think of Gushing Over Magical Girls that aired, the last season. But I'll leave it at that. Thank you so much for watching. May all of you have a fantastic day or night wherever you live. Once again, let's just laugh at the people on full display that will judge someone over something over a title. And yeah, let's leave it at that. Anyways, be safe, stay healthy, everyone. Chibi out.